Shooting the shit with the bartenders. I know them. Yeah. Talking to Mark, hanging out, just shooting the industry shit, you know. And all of a sudden, I smell the most god awful smell. I'm like, God damn! And there's a couple to the right of us, right?
Yeah.
And he's a bigger guy. I thought he like just ripped one. I'm like, God, who farted? And like Grayson's dog just took the biggest shit on the floor, dude. Oh my God!
No, Did you throw up?
I gagged. He wasn't. I gagged, and then like the bartender's handing him bags and like a spray bottle. He's like, dude, you need to clean that shit up.
Yeah, for real though, dude.
Welcome to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Varnum. Joining me today, as always, Big Mike.
Has it been a week?
It has been 7 days. Chris Tolbert.
I'm here.
And Cookie.
Yes, sir.
Oh, God. Guys, to preface this, Cookie and Tolbert have once again, because you guys, we had the best podcast we've ever had in our entire life last week.
I wouldn't say WrestleCade podcast was the best podcast.
I think it was pretty good.
Ever?
Do you think the Halloween episode?
Can I lay it down? Halloween episode was our best podcast ever. Last week, good.
To great.
Solid.
Good to great.
Good to great.
Good to great. All right, so this week, nothing really happened at all, right, guys? Nothing happened this
Nothing
week?
happened?
Nothing at all that I can think of.
Nothing wrestling related, nothing. So we're just going to go ahead and go straight to the matches. Just kidding. We had two of our members. We had Big Mike and Chris Tolbert.
Yes, sir.
Went to Fayetteville SmackDown, and you guys
We went to the big show.
Hashtag Smackville.
We were in
The Blue Brand, baby.
you guys are
I was so excited.
chomping at the bit.
So I was really Tolbert last week had said, and he did, in fact, buy himself and his father tickets to go to SmackDown, and I was really kind of disappointed because I thought as a collective group we would go, but Aaron, because of his work obligations, said he couldn't. Cookie with his work obligations said he couldn't. So here I am. I'm just a new wrestling fan, just really itching, chomping at the bit. They're local. I want to go, but like I can't justify just going by myself, sitting by myself, because Tolbert's going to be with his dad. And then what happens?
Tolbert's dad decided that he just wants to sit on the couch and watch wrestling.
Yeah. So, my parents are doing some big like home improvement projects and stuff. So I went down on Thursday and helped them out with some things. You know, we did a demo job. I cleaned out the attic. Did some hardcore with my parents.
Found some really cool toys, actually.
Yeah, dude, old school. Of course, I got to go through all my old like Ghostbuster stuff.
Yeah, I have all that stuff.
Cleaned out the entire attic of my parents' house, right? And this was Friday, and I've been working with my dad all day on Thursday, so I got a good night's sleep. Right? I literally had wrestling dreams. I had dreams. I woke up on Friday morning.
You know, important people have dreams about, like changing the world. Tolbert's is about
polio,
winning the lottery.
I'm not just saying this for the podcast.
Tolbert's dream is getting high and going to a wrestling match.
I'm not just saying this for the podcast. I had wrestling dreams at night.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So I wake up on Friday morning and
Were you able to sleep that night?
I didn't have a good night's sleep, right?
Yeah, I'm tossing and turning.
I went to Super King Buffet with my parents.
You went to a Chinese buffet?
And not as good as I remember from when I was.
That's like me going. I went to K&W recently. It's the same thing. It's like you have like these high idea of like what
From
a
when
place
you were a
is.
child.
Yeah, and then you go back and you're like, Jesus Christ.
To Tolbert's credit, though, like when I found out I was actually, we didn't get to this part, but when I found out I was actually getting to go to SmackDown because Tolbert's dad didn't want to go, or
well, all right. So we spent this weekend working together. We had plenty of bonding time. You know how it is working with your dad. You know the dynamics back and forth.
You mean your dad yelling at you, because that's what Howard does there.
That's all my working is. I don't talk. I just get yelled at.
It's a mix between getting yelled at, treated like you're a kid, and also you like
I'm a grown man, Dad.
no, it's not that. It's like him talking to you like you're still a kid because you are. It's your dad. You're still his kid, and then also like Dad. Oh shit, Dad, don't die. That as well. And it's great. But when I first told him, he was like, "Oh, you bought wrestling tickets, huh?" He was kind of surprised. Big crowds, in wrestling aren't his thing. So I was like, "Hey, Dad, you can totally go. Don't mind." But I was like, "Mike will totally come down and go with me. I bought tickets on a whim
Why don't
anyway."
you just let big old
He's
Mike?
Like, he goes, "Hey," he's like, "I like wrestling. I haven't watched it in years." He's like, "You know what? I used to like Jackie Fargo." And he goes off into these deep wrestling rants like you had with your uncle this weekend.
Yeah.
And he just, repeats the same stories, keeps talking about wrestling bears and, Jackie Fargo the whole time. But anyway, he's like, he's going to enjoy it way more than I will.
Dude, so I was stoked. I was supposed to actually, I had planned.
I was so excited to give Mike the call.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was like, "Cool, Dad, it's for real. You don't want?" He's like, "No, we're gonna watch it on TV. Your mama. We're gonna hang out. You boys have a good time." Then I ran to my phone, gave Mike the call or the text.
Let's go. It's like you're all kids, man. Again.
Dude, I was so excited.
I love it.
I was so excited. I was actually in my head. I'm a planner. My week is planned out ahead of me, like in my mind. I was supposed to take my final for my class on Friday. I woke up Friday. I was like, I'm not taking my final. I'm so amped. I just can't not doing it. So I did it on Saturday because I wanted to go to SmackDown on Friday and I wanted to be ready. And I was so amped. I was so excited.
Why didn't you just take the final on Friday to get it over with?
Because it's a final for a class. It actually matters, Aaron.
I actually texted him. I was like, "Mike, are you taking your test today?" And I was like, "Are all your answers going to be finishing moves?" And
I was like,
your final.
Nah, man, made the decision. Doing it tomorrow.
But it was an exciting afternoon. I was especially pumped because it's my hometown.
Oh, we know that you're thankful about wrestling and
and the Crown
old
Coliseum
Vietnam
is 2 miles from my parents.
Dude,
Right.
it was perfect. I actually I spent time with my family. Because I happened to be off. This to also preface this, I had worked 9 days straight.
Right.
I worked through Thanksgiving, no holiday,
You missed
no
WrestleCade.
weekend, no WrestleCade.
No WrestleCade.
I was ready to experience some wrestling.
And to preface that even more, this is the first real professional wrestling match you've ever been to.
This is the first real professional wrestling match I had ever been to. And to be fair, Tolbert actually said this might be the first one he'd been to as an
live
adult.
match.
As an adult.
As an adult. Okay.
And so I was just really excited. So I get on the road. I stop at a gas station. I get a couple 300 milligram Rockstar caffeine.
I thought you were about to say you ate like some of those yellow jackets.
Dude,
He took 2 yellow jackets.
Just trucker speed on the way to Fayetteville.
as an adult, I'm a father now. I'm a father of a 16-month-old.
He's gonna start crying.
I go to bed at like 9:30. I knew that SmackDown wasn't starting till 8. I knew I was gonna be day drinking. I was like, I gotta load up. So I literally crushed a 300 milligram Rockstar. I had another one in the bag just waiting for me. And then
Came stressed.
on to Fayetteville I go. I get to Tolbert's house. All right,
Well,
no. We meet at Dirtbag Brewing in
Yeah.
Fayetteville. Awesome place. Great
Dirtbag
food.
Brewery.
Dirtbag
It's
Brewing.
a huge brewery in Fayetteville.
It's a big brewery.
Apparently, Bragg had a rugby tournament
Bragg
there.
Rugby.
Dude, their facilities now is like it's massive. They have this great sized brewery. They have a patio. They have a kids area. They have a dog park. They have a pavilion for like special seating, and then they have like a little restaurant area. It was awesome.
Dude, we smashed some burgers. Yeah.
So
Crushed some burgers.
So Tolbert had already eaten.
Appies?
I get there. Tolbert is eaten. I drink one beer, and then between the caffeine and the beer, I'm like, I probably need to eat something, bud.
Oh, God.
And so I crushed this like buffalo chicken sandwich with tots. Phenomenal.
Yeah, I can't wait to go back home and go party at this place for
Dude.
Christmas Eve. It's so good.
We head to Mama and Papa Tolbert's to drop a car off, and it's funny though because like we get there and like at this point, we're ready to go. Tolbert's charging his phone. And his dad, no less than 3 times, was like, "Make sure y'all let me know where you're sitting so I can watch. I'm gonna watch." I'm gonna watch SmackDown, and it's like he was amped to watch SmackDown.
Yeah, because he didn't have to go there.
He didn't have to deal with the
He's
crowd.
lived in Fayetteville for a long time.
Yeah.
He knows the people he does not want to be
He does
near.
not want to deal with that traffic.
So I'm gonna that's 1:30 in the afternoon, 2:30 in the afternoon. We head to Walmart, which is amazingly on the way to the Coliseum.
There you
Between the
go.
2 miles of Tolbert's parents' house and the Coliseum, we head to the Walmart. We get a 24-pack of Keystone Light,
Box of rocks.
box of rocks. We get, unfortunately, we get no poster board, no Sharpies.
Idiots.
And then we
I don't want to be that guy with a sign.
I don't. And you know,
well,
man.
I never
and-
do.
and so-
man.
so-
I'm there to watch wrestling.
So we get there to tailgate, but we didn't buy the stuff because for several reasons. One of which was it was my first live event. I didn't want to be the guy that you had referenced in our sign episode,
Right.
Where like I didn't want to be bothering somebody behind us,
Right.
And
that's what it ends up
Mike's
happening.
big enough.
Little did I know two things. One, we had aisle seats, so I was in the aisle the whole time. And two, there was one row behind us. So fuck those guys. I would have had a sign. We actually. I wish we would have bought signed stuff because I had a couple things written down.
Go ahead and tell us what you would have put on the sign
All right.
if you had a sign.
This is Mike's poster list.
Number one.
To be fair, so a couple of these were just funny. Like had we had the volume of signage that we could have written down whatever we wanted.
Right.
One thought out by Travis. Vince fears #the steak.
Of course.
It would have been great even if people would have saw that and were like, "What's the steak?" Maybe.
And then you just point to the shirt that you're wearing.
I had meat on my shirt.
There you go.
Anyway,
Matching meat
another
shirts.
one. This was for me. I'm a huge Pat McAfee guy, so I wanted to say, "Where's Pat?" #for the brand.
Right.
Because he had a great showing on SmackDown a couple weeks ago when they were all stranded in Saudi Arabia. In ode of Aaron, I had who farted.
That's the best one. It's the best sign. That's it.
I wanted
It's the segment over.
I wanted to write that, and then in an ode
Apparently, it was Grayson's dog.
in an ode to Tolbert.
God.
In an ode to Tolbert, and the fact that this is happening in Fayetteville, and years past, some things happened in Fayetteville. I wanted to have one that said, "RVD did nothing wrong."
Aw, poor RVD.
So that would have been two pieces of post board. On the third piece of post board, I would have been all about branding the $2 steak.
There
The
you
cheap-
go. You
The
got
cheap
to,
meat
yeah.
tweet. So these are the two that I really thought of that I really wanted to write down. One was Corbin likes cold hot dogs. #cheap meat tweet.
There you go.
It makes sense.
Yep.
It has to deal with storylines. It references us. It would have been
Right.
great. I think people would have loved it.
You could have even made a dog food reference afterward.
yeah.
If you guys
Mine
didn't
would
know.
have been Big Mike wants 2-day shipping. #shitless.
That #shitlist. Yeah, that would have been funny too. And then the last one, you had to be a little smarky, but it was, and I don't think I've told you guys. I told Tolbert this, he laughed, but it's $6,500 equals 3,250 $2 steaks.
There you go.
#cheap meat tweet. In ode to Bray Wyatt's $7,000 replica belt.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Which you could also, purchase on WWEshop.com. Last week's recipient of the shit list designation.
But anyway, those were the signs I would have made if I could have.
So now that you guys are here, the SmackDown is going live. You guys are getting there. You get to
You're
the
gonna
arena.
skip the tailgate?
Tell me about the tailgate. You guys got there and you drank,
was
and then you
sad.
peed on
It was
a
sad.
thing.
It was the saddest tailgate ever. I had brought
Who
my
else was in the parking lot?
nobody.
Okay.
So I brought my
Staff.
I brought my stove. I brought my tables, and like I didn't know how timing and like
you had plenty of
your
time.
satiation would have like allowed, but I didn't know if we were going to cook meat or not or whatever.
Satiation. We had a box of rocks, a pack of raw, and
Popcorn?
and Doritos,
And Doritos, which
That's
are
it.
right there. The finishing of the Doritos is right there. And we parked so far away from everything for two reasons. One, I really had to pee already.
Right.
And I knew we were going to be crushing rocks. And two, Tolbert's like, hey, don't park too close to anybody because I want to spark this thing up.
Of course, he had to smoke some marijuana.
But the best part is we're parked in the middle of nowhere. We are so far from everything. We are sitting in this like treed like little area.
Right.
There's 3 trees, no leaves. It's raining. They're not helping, and cars are just driving by and parking and stopping because why? We are near the 22 WWE semi trucks with Roman Reigns plastered on it.
Well, they wanted to get pictures of that.
Yeah.
It's
So
an impressive armada of semis.
As Tolbert said, the classic Hope Mills father rolls up, right? He's got his 6-cylinder blacked out Camaro. You can't hear it, but you can see it.
Right.
He pulls up, parks like an asshole, gets out. His hair is slicked way back. His wife gets out in all black and boots. The kids roll out of the cooped up back seat of the
With
Camaro.
matching Raw shirts
With
on.
matching Raw shirts, then run up to the semi trucks to take pictures. It was hilarious. They are not the only ones that did that. And it was perfect. As Tolbert said, that's a classic Hope Mills dad. And I look at him and go, why? Because his car payment costs more than his house payment.
Yes. Yes. So you guys tailgate.
Quote unquote tailgate.
You get in line. The doors open late.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. And we were standing behind.
Wait, no. I thought you're saving this for.
Well, you already referenced it, so yeah, all right, we could talk about it later. But the crowd is
Interesting.
very Fayetteville centric.
The doors open late. We did see Braun Strowman, who did not show up on the show, but he was up in the
So
taking pictures.
the entrance to the Crown, you have the main entrance, and then there's some like box offices up in the top, and you see a WWE backdrop, and you see Braun Strowman walk out because it's all glass plating. You know, you can see out into the crowd. And he's taking pictures with VIP people, you know, probably people that paid for it, or, you know, charity events and stuff like that. So a lot of people get excited. You hear some Braun chants, a lot of woo chants, and
so
all
many
kinds of
woo
stuff.
chants.
Yeah,
it's Flair country.
Yeah,
Dude,
but like
from the time we pulled up the car, remember that dad and a
yeah,
little girl?
the random guy.
Yeah.
No, I think it was an Uber driver. He dropped the family off, and he just rolls down the windows, and goes, "Woo!" Of course, we go, "Woo!"
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I'm actually, so many people had belts, which I think like, yeah, you can get a belt, but like, you're gonna bring a belt to a live show. Like, I feel like that should be like the 24/7 title. Like, I wanted to go after some of these people.
Wait, and we didn't reference this at WrestleCade, but every time I have been going to wrestling events recently, I see the proprietors of our famous pancake establishment that we go to.
Chris's.
Did you see them?
We saw them at the end. We were going up the escalator,
We're exiting. We're going down the escalator.
and I see the guy who cooks our pancakes.
The dad cooks our pancakes.
Yes.
every weekend. He's there. Of
I'll
course.
see you tomorrow.
Did you tell him that?
I yelled it. I
yelled
yelled
it
it.
down the
I was
street,
30
down
feet
the
away, 40 feet
way.
away. He didn't hear, but I did see him. Yeah.
Did you speak to him at Chris's the next day and told
No,
him?
he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
So that's every time I go to a wrestling event.
They're there.
It's the people that cook us pancakes every Saturday.
Anyway.
Chris's restaurant.
All right,
Go there.
so let's say you guys get there, you watch the entrance packages, everything. SmackDown starts at 8 p.m.
Yes.
What were you feeling? What was going through your veins other than BAC? It's blood alcohol content, right?
Well, I was pretty hammered at that point.
Tor's cross buzzing hard. He's drank more. He bought at Dirtbag. He bought a 6-pack and he drank mostly dirt bags. I bought a 24-pack of beer.
Man.
I bought a 24-pack of beer. Tolbert's drinking all his Dirtbag beers. I'm like, dude, you don't have to do that. Don't do that. All right,
Save those.
whatever. You do you, man. And he's like smoked a J. And so we get inside. It opens up with like I didn't know they did a pre-match.
Yeah.
Or pre-show.
So it's a
match.
dark match. Yeah.
So that was interesting.
So was it anybody that you knew? Sometimes
it
when
was
they do-
Carmella versus Tamina. It was
Okay.
It was okay. Carmella went over.
It was a squash
fun.
match. It
Yeah.
was real quick and entertaining.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
It's really weird. I've never been to a live event. The mic ring is
It's loud.
Yeah, it's a different. It's because I was at WrestleCade last weekend.
WrestleCade.
Yeah, WrestleCade. Sorry, I was at Waterline for a little while. Yeah, Cookie just had a session, but anyway, it's different from being in the actual ring right next to it and a mic ring. It's a lot different.
Yeah.
Little
So
it
it
was
was
the
loud. When
arena's
you-
loud as well.
When you say it's mic, you mean like
It's not very. It's
They're
just.
pumping it through the PA. It's,
Yeah,
Really?
it's-
Yeah,
Okay.
dude, it was not distracting. It was loud, and like the whole. And I know they're doing it for TV probably, but like the whole arena, it was really. I have sensitive ears, and I have tinnitus because I've gone to events without earplugs, and I went to this one without earplugs, and I'm pretty sure my ringing in my ears is worse.
Good.
It was
Good
loud.
to hear. Yeah. So SmackDown starts.
Yes.
The laser light show happens.
amazing.
Everything's happening.
Yeah, everything's
Tolbert-
going on. No traditional SmackDown pyro. What they've been doing recently in recent weeks. I think probably because it's a smaller arena. Yeah, so it was cool. We're ready. We're ready to go. Like we had eaten our chicken fingers.
Yeah, chicken fingers and soft pretzels.
Well, he had a soft pretzel.
Coors Lights?
We're drinking our Coors Light. Actually, Michelob's. We got actually they had 25-ounce Michelob's, so I got Michelob.
That's 1 extra ounce of water.
Yeah, exactly. So we're ready to go. Aaron's actually texting us. He's like, "Hey guys, how's it going? What are they doing pre-show? Blah blah blah."
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in that sort of
Was
thing.
in the crowd. We're getting texts from Travis. His cousin was sitting probably like
a little
5
farther
rows
back than
behind us.
We're on the floor. Like Tolbert wasn't sure how good these seats were gonna be. We get there and we're like,
When you're on the floor, it's good.
these seats are pretty fun.
It's fun.
Yeah, they were great. Yeah.
Everyone's into it.
I'm texting you because I'm more interested in what's happening kind of like around the event, like because it is an event. When you buy tickets to a WWE event, it is not just what you see on
It's an
TV.
all-day thing.
One would say it's entertainment.
It is, and you're entertained the whole time.
It was great. Yeah, no, it was. I had a great time, and leading up to the best match of the night.
Well, you got to see two of the best bottoms on television. Tell me about that.
Oh, what was it?
Alexa Bliss came back.
Oh, God.
And versus Mandy
Rose.
We saw the Marine girl
Yes, Lacey Evans.
versus Sasha Banks, and then she got a promo and got beat up by Karen.
So after all of this happened, a fatal 4-way tag
so
team
disrespectful,
match
man.
happened. A fatal 4-way tag
Yes.
team match, elimination style, with the Revival against
So-
the.
Can I? Yeah, go ahead.
We
Tolbert.
didn't know this was gonna happen, right?
So yeah, we were like contemplating back and forth in the parking lot. Like, man, we hope the Revival have a match.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
So we
course.
hope the
Because
Revival
I-
have a match.
we were just like, that's all we wanted for the night. We just want to see the Revival wrestle, and we hear the announcement for
The Fatal 4-Way.
yeah, and we're like, this has got.
They have to be in
This
this.
has got to be it.
Yeah.
So actually, who did they intro?
Ali
first?
and Shorty G come out first.
Yeah, and then the music hits, dude.
Say yeah.
First off, how are the lights? And then second, how was it when that music hit?
So Shorty G and I'll like come out like it's cool. Like,
It's a
you're
laser
like,
light show.
Ali's got that baller ass like fucking hand thing and the face mask stuff. But dude, when Say Yeah hit,
That's what I mean.
I
yeah.
think Mike
Say yeah.
distracted the first like 5 rows of the floor. Like, what?
Can you tell that they were these two boys were Revival fans?
dude, we marked out hard.
Yeah, we
and
kinda
like
did.
and everybody else is like, yeah, man, it's a Revival, and we're like, woo! We're fucking high fiving. We're like, say yeah, and we're screaming, cheering. It was phenomenal.
So the match happens, and it ends up being a classic.
It was amazing.
Classic, about 25-minute match.
It was perfect.
And to be right there seeing it, it was just it
I-
flowed amazingly. It was awesome. It was
I lost
great.
my voice, right?
Yeah.
So I lost my voice screaming during this match because, and the beauty of it, me and Tolbert talked about this afterwards. I've talked about it since. You lose all sense. Like, yes, it's a work. We know, like, even in my head during the match,
Right.
I'm like, certain points, I'm like, okay, I think the Revival are going to win. But, like,
At certain points,
you
you
lose
can-
it.
yeah,
Like, you're,
you're
like,
like-
you're into it. You're buying it. Why? And I think part of it was, honestly, there's no commentary. You're watching
No.
this live. Like, you are literally
telling
like,
the story in your
you're
head.
in this, like, in your own head. You're like watching this happen.
That's why when I'm watching at WrestleCade, and I'm just laser focused on that.
And I think the best part too is it's Revival and it's Heavy Machinery. I love Heavy Machinery.
Right.
Like, I love those guys. They're great workers. They're great characters. It's an awesome match, and they're like paired up with 2 high flying teams: Shorty G, Ali, and then the
Lucha House Party.
Lucha House Party. Yeah. So it was a great match. Lucha House Party goes out early. They do was it compactor or something?
Yeah,
Heavy Machinery
Trash
does that.
compactor or something like that.
And and then it's like 2 of my favorite tag teams versus Shorty G and Ali, and they're just working. It looks great. I'm screaming my head off the whole time.
Right.
And the weird part was like I've never been in this situation, right? Because I've never been to a live show, but like I'm I'm screaming for the heels. Like,
No, well, yeah.
But and also props to Fayetteville. It was an amazing crowd.
dude, no,
Yeah, that's good.
Amazing crowd.
Wait, back up. How upset were you with Kofi Kingston when he came down throwing those
Oh
pancakes?
man. So like they're like lobbing pancakes. Like it's like handing them to the second row, just like dealing cards. Like motherfucker, throw that shit. Let's go. I'm trying to get a pancake. I'm hungry.
Would you have eaten the pancake?
I would have taken a massive bite of that pancake.
I
for the brand or for the gram, for the Twitter, man,
Oh,
I would have
definitely.
eaten the shit out of that pancake.
I'm so interested in how those pancakes are made and how they're thrown.
It's craft service, dude. You can make a pancake in like
But
no time.
they're
It's flour,
thrown so
egg,
well.
and it's nothing. It's like it's so easy to make.
So when the Revival wins, you lose it.
Geek
Oh,
out.
you lose it.
Wins. Wait, can we lead up to that?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
I was-
I'm trying to push.
Aaron's like texting us.
It's gonna be a 2-hour.
Aaron, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
geez, I'm looking at the time right now.
Aaron's like, this is a great match, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, it is. I'm losing my voice, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just screaming stuff. So when Heavy Machinery eliminates Lucha House Party,
Right.
I mark out, right? Because I'm a fan of Heavy Machinery.
Yeah.
I yell, I have steak on my shirt.
There you
because
go, and steaks and weights.
I'm wearing our $2 steak shirts.
Yeah.
And people, like, it gets quiet a little bit in our section. Like, people look at me, I'm like, I'm not lying. I'm wearing steak on my shirt. People like giggle.
We lost fans because of this.
I yell, that was a ribeye moment. Like,
So the whole time there's a family in front of us, a mom and dad, and you can tell they're wrestling fans. They know what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not just like taking their kid.
Yeah.
And the kid's there, and he's probably like 5 years old. So we had to keep our heckles
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything
So
kinda
clean heckles.
And that's good.
But the little
kid loved it.
He would chant whatever we chanted.
Yeah, and,
Yeah, it was
and
awesome.
the moments
the dad-
like that when you're like kind of nurturing somebody else's fandom and you're
Yeah.
like
But, like,
nurturing a child.
The dad, like, dude, by the end of that match, I'm in the alley, like the walkway of the thing, because we had like aisle seats. The mom and dad kept looking at me and smiling. I kept hearing the guys next to us just cracking up. Like it was awesome, and it was totally like incensed with what was going on. Who cares? Like anything else? Like it was perfect.
And that's why, and a moment like that, Mike, is the reason why. The moment when I went to like my first wrestling
Yeah.
match, and
Yeah.
and I kind of realized, I'm like, you know what, like nobody cares that nobody's gonna be looking beside you and be like, you know that's fake, right?
Well,
because everybody there is got a singular thing in mind. They just want to be entertained.
And if I can get deep for a second, like I'm an introvert
Right.
through and through. Like I'm quiet. I'm reserved. I will not speak until I've like assessed the situation, all this sort of stuff. And I lost it. Like I was screaming. I was yelling stuff. And like part of it was like I'm trying to put on a show for everybody else around me too. Like at one point, a Shorty G's getting stretched out, right? And I just yell, he ain't a G. The dudes next to us who were just cracking up. Like I'm just, it was
Stretch him
hilarious.
out, he's gonna be Tolly G.
Yeah, exactly. Scott's getting like busted up by like Heavy Machine or something. I yell at, he has a child. Like, come on now, dude. And then like it gets down to like 2 versus 2, and like the crowd, dude, the Revival are getting heat.
Oh, yeah.
they're doing
Yeah,
well. They're doing their job. They're getting heat, and the lull comes down, right? And I yell, come on, now they some Carolina boys. Let's cheer them on. Let's go. And the crowd wasn't having it. But
You're feeling that ebb and flow of the match.
I loved it. If I would have just shown up, paid $60, watched that match, and left, I would have
You'd have been
felt
fine.
completely
Yeah,
fine.
it was very satisfying to me because I knew he missed WrestleCade. He had to work all Thanksgiving weekend. I was very happy to give that. Yeah, to
and then
him.
I completely lost my voice.
and it's something different. WrestleCade, yeah, it's a big production, but it's
And
still
it was really cool because I did these 2 events in the past 2 weeks. It's really cool to see the contrast between like a WrestleCade type event where everyone's like, super fans, and for the most part everyone knows what's going on,
Right.
and also see like
I think
families and like just a very mixed
and I think for
crowd.
me, like having a team, like it's just like NFL or baseball, or
Yeah.
whatever. Like having a group or a team that you're 100%, you
Right.
are in, ride or die. Let's go. I want to see this happen.
right.
Was awesome. Like we've gone we went to a random indie show in Wilmington.
Right, and it's just
and I had a blast. It was fun, but like you had to latch on as they were coming out. You had to figure out who you were cheering for.
Right.
Like,
and I got too drunk and threw up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm wearing a Revival shirt right now. Like, I knew, ride or die, I'm cheering for the Revival. I like Steak and Weights. I like Heavy Machine. Like, Let's Go. Like, I like them. I actually liked everybody in the match, except for Lucha House Party. Like, who are they?
Yeah.
But I was ready to cheer and ready to be happy, and I had a phenomenal time doing it. Like, none of the other matches, like, I cared that much about. It was more like just watching it.
Well, at that point,
like,
you're coming down off of a
no, but
high.
like to be completely and utterly ingrained in what was going on, and just I felt involved. Like I was part of the match. To me, like I'm cheering, I'm entertaining the people around me. Like I'm having a good time. I'm losing my voice doing it. It was I will go back next time they're in Fayetteville. I guarantee it.
What about? Did you guys see The Fiend?
We did see the Fiend. Yeah, actually, yeah. So they build. Like, if you watch the show, they did a bunch of stuff with the Miz, and then they build it over the speaker. And I didn't know this was the kind of thing that they did.
The dark main event.
No. Well, but they didn't say that. They said the main event tonight will be Miz versus Fiend.
Right.
So like, they go through the whole thing. TV ends with the whole Roman dog food thing, which was a little weird. 205 Live comes out. They do their thing, and I'm kind of like, am I just hearing things? Like, I thought they said the Miz versus the Fiend. And then all of a sudden, you hear Miz's music and it comes out. I'm like, oh, okay. So I get it now. Yeah. So like, try to figure it out.
And they want to show if somebody's billed on the card, they want to have that person come out, make their appearance. You guys got to experience,
dude. I had
Fiend live.
Dude, it was a great.
How was that entrance, man?
I mean,
it was
dude,
phenomenal.
Did they have the red lights up the whole time?
Yeah.
Which I am more of a fan of the red lights live than I am on TV.
Well, I'm sure it
You
would be a lot
understand it
easier.
so much. I mean, seeing it live on TV, you can pick it apart on TV all day long, but actually being there and seeing the production and how it takes place.
But
is
it
amazing.
was really cool. I thought in general, like again, I'm watching it live, not on TV. I thought it was a great SmackDown. I thought it was a better SmackDown than the ones they've been airing recently. But it's also 2 weeks before pay-per-view. So
So I mean, you're pushing stories
we were
forward.
excited because we're like, dude,
So timing was great.
They have to do something, right? Like they have to like lead in or do like build it something somehow,
right?
So yeah, but they announced Miz versus Fiend on TLC now too, right? So that'll be cool. It was good. I mean, it was a quick little squash, nothing too serious. But the say cheese line, like during the episode,
during the
say cheese, it was awesome.
So during watching your first event live, I've been to hundreds of live professional wrestling matches now. I've seen so many things, but the most special things that I've been to, I got to see 2 WrestleManias live, which was very special. I enjoyed seeing a Raw better than I did maybe one of the WrestleManias. I'll tell you, I got to see WrestleMania 30 live, which was a big deal. That was The Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, that was Daniel Bryan. Seeing that whole storyline progress throughout the night was one of the most special things I've ever seen. And I can't explain to somebody who's not a wrestling fan the feeling of going to an event like that live.
I've been to Steelers games, Indians games, Cavs games. I have never been more invested and more into and more vocal for a single element of a night than I was for that Revival match.
It's special.
End of story. And I am way more ride or die for the Steelers. I'm maybe not way more for the Indians, but but that's something. And I didn't even think about it until you just said that. Like it's interesting to think about.
Yeah,
and it's captivating. It's why was that? I know it's a work, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because I'm interested in now. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's pretty
puzzled,
fun,
man.
It is a special thing. Once you get to see it,
I can't wait to go back.
Exactly. So you can't wait to go back. Even if it's a house show, you'll have fun.
I don't know if we'll go to a house show.
You'll go to a house show. House shows are fun.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are still fun. But it's like you're saying, it is a special thing to see live, and it's hard to put into words, and that's why we're wrestling fans.
I think it's because it's like a singular thing. it matters.
I think it's because you're also around people that suspend reality.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
you're
maybe.
around like-minded people.
I'll say you go to a baseball game, you're like, well, this is like one of 162.
Right.
Steelers games, NFL games, a little more interesting because it's one of 17. But like, no, this is for a TLC match against the New Day. Like this now matters now.
Right.
Yes.
It has to happen. Maybe that's it.
Well, let's wrap this
That's
up.
the most new, interesting current wrestling we've talked about in a long time.
I know. And we
30
will.
minutes
But
later.
now, guess what? We've got 3 matches
Oh
to
my
go
God.
over.
If you haven't tuned out yet,
There's more.
There is more.
Get ready. You can tune out later.
There's so much more.
For our first matchup of the evening, Big Mike has got the British Bulldogs against the Hart Foundation.
I do. It's May 2nd, 1987.
1987.
So, you were alive then, right?
I was alive then,
was
too.
2 years old.
Yeah, I was 1 year old.
You said May 7th?
May 2nd.
Second. My birthday's May 16th.
There you go, Tolbert.
May 16th of what?
85.
85.
All right. So Tolbert and Aaron were alive. Cookie and I
Barely.
were not. This is a tag title match. It's the best 2 out of 3 falls. Vince McMahon, Jesse Ventura on the commentary. At one point, again, I've mentioned how much I loved. I think Jesse, Vince, and Dusty are my favorite commentators.
Yeah.
JR's up there, but
JR's good. Tony's good.
yeah, but they're not like I don't know. Maybe it's the one-off segments that we get with these guys. Jesse at one point says, "Hey Vince, if you could shut up for a minute, I think Jimmy does a better play-by-play than you do," and in reference to Jimmy Hart on a megaphone. And if anybody hasn't listened to Jimmy Hart on a megaphone, he's terrible. Which is I don't know. I thought it's funny. I like Jesse Ventura. So
But it was getting heat.
it was.
Jimmy Hart was getting heat. And if you were
And
there
he's
live...
used to being on Hogan where
Right.
he was just like raising him up, right?
But if you were there live, you would be like, shut that guy up!
I bet. I actually kind of was. Every time I see, anytime I see Jimmy Hart, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram,
Hi,
Reddit,
baby! Oh, baby! Oh, baby!
for bookings, email. Jimmy
Hart, baby.
Just shut up, Jimmy. All right. Anyway, my initial thoughts. Hey, boys, why are cousins fighting?
Cousins don't fight.
These are Canadians versus Britons, man. They say they share the same currency. They love the Queen. Why the fuck are they fighting?
Yeah.
Anyway, cheap joke.
Terrible opening joke by Mike Maurer.
Who are all the other people, Aaron? Tell me. Give me a rundown on these other guys that are standing around the ring because the video we get, it just cuts right to the match. We have no idea who's going on.
So we also had Jimmy Hart, their manager, also accompanied by Danny Davis. Danny Davis, the storyline at the time was Danny Davis was a referee before this. And the reason why the Hart Foundation got that title around their waist was because Danny Davis was kind of that referee on the take, that kind of one-sided referee, kind of the Nick Patrick and NWO days. But Danny Davis kind of helped them get that title around them. And then in the corner of the British Bulldogs was Tito Santana, a famous professional wrestler, held the Intercontinental title for a while, and he's just there to kind of play the numbers game a little bit. So it's not 4-on-2, so it's now 4-on-3.
Yeah, so there's a lot happening. It starts good chain wrestling. Davey Boy starts working the left arm of Bret Hart.
Davey Boy, I just want to say, is an athlete. Like
Dude,
a bona fide
yak.
athlete.
Yo, dude, both
Yacked
these
man.
British dudes yacked British dudes I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
They're stacked. I don't know how tall they are, but they are ripped. I found this very interesting, actually. I forget who called it out on commentary, but so this is 1987, and Aaron can speak to this a little bit. We get a quote-unquote, they call him Bret Hart line.
I don't know what that's about.
Well, is that because people don't know who Bret Hart is?
I don't know. I honestly, Bret at that point was in the WWE for a few years. I mean, but this is also very early.
It's 87. It's not 95.
Yeah, right.
It's like people don't know who. But it's.
Right.
I thought that was very interesting. That they had to say that anyway. We get good contrasting styles from the Hart Foundation. They're doing more what I would consider still some WWE style kind of wrestling where they're doing slams and like throws and all this sort of stuff. British dudes doing more chain wrestling.
Yeah.
Like kind of like contact. They're holding on. They're doing things.
That's their style. They
At
taught.
one point, we get this awesome, and this is actually a good note to the British guys. Like throughout the match, like they're doing these slams. At one point, we get a power slam, chain wrestling power slam, like holding onto the arm, slams the dude, never lets go, moves on to the next move. Like it was actually really kind of cool to watch. I thought this was interesting. The Hart Foundation are the heels.
Yeah, they were
throughout
big
the
heels,
match.
yeah.
Like they're big heels. Maybe that's just like me in 2020 or 2019 trying to like put that together. Like I never would have expected the Hart Foundation to ever have been heels.
Right.
And people love the British Bulldog and they the Dynamite Kid.
And it was the booking of WWF at the time. But also Hart Foundation, when they started off, phenomenal heel tag team, and that's kind of how they started off. Like for the first few years of their career, they were the yin to the British Bulldogs yang.
And again, yeah, it's really kind of like swerve to me, Greenhorn Mike, not knowing or expecting that. Like I was kind of, oh, Bret Hart's a bad guy. What is this?
No!
Oh God. So actually, so again, this is a 2 out of 3 falls match. So.
Right.
The heelish nature of the Hart Foundation actually leads to them being DQ'd for their first fall because a bunch of guys get in the ring and start chasing each other.
It was just
It's
a whole
kind of shit show.
it was ridiculous.
I'll leave it at that. We get back into the action, and the Hart Foundation continues to do heel work. The thing I found interesting with this was it was actually never Bret doing the heel work. It was always Jim.
Yeah. Bret's more technical stuff, and Neidhart kind of comes in and does the
like
heel
the
stuff.
dirty stuff.
Yeah.
So like, we get into the first or the second part of the match, and Neidhart's like raking the face and like choking him out and like doing all this sort of stuff, while other extenuating things are going on around the outside, and the ref's not seeing it. I just want to point out, Neidhart has the best. I didn't do anything. Hands like he's this big burly dude with a decent sized beard, and he just like puts his hands up. It's like real like frilly, like I didn't do anything, not doing nothing.
It's those shot put hands.
And also strangely, Jim Neidhart looks a lot like one of my best friends, Josh Lentz.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's uncanny. It's crazy.
He's also about a foot taller than Lynn.
Yeah.
Then Josh, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Josh. Bret at one point takes this like hilarious bump where he's running at, I don't know what it's called. Throws him in the
ropes.
He goes to the ropes, runs back towards the guy. The guy moves. Bret takes the top rope to the nuts and just bounces and bounces
straddles
and
on.
bounces and bounces. Why were the ropes so loose back then?
Because they didn't have
They weren't doing 360 planches off the outside.
They didn't have a luchador who had to do a 5,000 twist and turn. Yeah.
Sammy G did a 630 last week on Dynamite. So it's interesting to see that kind of sort of thing back in the 80s where
Everything was grounded.
And you weren't so that was like the second highest spot. At one point somebody throws somebody over the top rope, but it was very interesting to kind of see that sort of thing. At one point Davey Boy Smith does a drop kick off the hot tag to Neidhart, and he lands on his feet.
Oh, it was insane. He hits him and then lands on his feet.
And I flike he was like shocked by the whole situation. He was
He
like,
was just kinda
I
like-
ran in there, hit him with my legs, and I had time to grab him and stand up. Like,
It was a cool move.
is that how stiff Neidhart was? He's just a thick boy from Canada.
Yeah, he just
like,
bounced off.
We end up the Bulldogs get the final pin after some like shenanigans happen,
Right.
And so they win, right? Not quite. So it was a title match for the tag team titles, but because of the first DQ, the Bulldogs do not actually win the tag titles.
Wow.
So that was a little shady.
In professional wrestling, it's called. It's similar to what is called a dusty finish.
Okay.
Where they do all these things where like your hero wins. Your hero wins the match, but they find a reason to be like, well, he didn't win the title because of this.
We got a little chuckle because Jesse is like the heel commentator, right? So he's like, oh, but that first one was a DQ, so they don't get the titles. And Vince is like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And we're like,
you wrote that, Vince.
Yeah, but Vince, you booked that. So it was kind of funny. Final thoughts. This was a 10-minute match, and they hit everything I needed personally for a wrestling match in 10 minutes. I really, really like this style of wrestling. I'm slowly, after not quite a year, but like I'm honing in on what I really enjoy, and I actually really like this tag team match.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Davey Boy Smith picking up Jim Neidhart and holding him up
for a
suplex.
Vertical. To be fair, that good core strength on Neidhart. Yes. Good core strength on Neidhart. If I was allowed to have a cookie top 4, that would probably have made it. It was phenomenal,
and it didn't look like any effort whatsoever from Davey Boy.
From neither one of them.
From neither. This is perfect.
All right. What other final thoughts?
No. So I really like this kind of style of wrestling. It's more ground and pound ish. I really liked the kind of what's British style, catch can.
Right. Yeah. So it's hold for hold.
So
and
they
counter for counter.
Like that move or two, right? Like we're watching it together, Aaron, today, and I was like, dude, like you have to see this. Like it's that power slam while he held onto his arm and never let go. Like it was really cool. You don't see that in any kind of today's wrestling, and it was just. I really enjoyed that. It's kind of it's like I'm gonna fuck you up, and then I'm gonna fuck you up again because I haven't let go of you. So
right, and it makes it look more of a contest.
Exactly. It felt more of a kind of a war, battle of attrition kind of stuff. Versus, go ahead.
Quick aside, it's funny when my uncle talked at me for an hour about professional wrestling, and he's like, "What is this? What is this on Wednesday nights on TBS?" And I'm like, "Oh God,
flippy shit, Uncle.
Here it comes." It's called AEW. He's like, it just looks like a bunch of damn gymnasts. I turned it to the other day, and all it is just flips, and it just looks like a gymnast routine. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And he's like, and it just back when I was watching wrestling, it looked like they were really fighting each other. And I'm like, yeah.
That's what. Yeah, I can see these guys just like going down to Blue Post, having words, going out to the parking lot,
right, and just beating the shit out of each other,
throwing down
for Blue Post.
You know what? And here's the other side of it. It was only 10 minutes.
Right.
I could totally see these guys fighting outside of Blue Post for 10 minutes.
Right. And then just being
15, 20 minutes, cops are coming, man. Like, it's nothing about it. But, like, 10 minutes, like, yeah, I could see that happen. And, yeah, so we mentioned the no title change. So it was a good, like, kind of, not character, but story work kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I liked it. Thanks, Aaron.
Hey, I did something good. To wrap up your segment, let's get to the social media update.
Social media update. Dude, we are, I don't know, like between like Instagram and having a bunch of content and Twitter, like we're climbing, dude. We're up to like 100, I think over 100 Instagram followers. We are at a 200, almost 240 Twitter followers. Like,
I'm excited about that.
Dude, we've grown exponentially the last couple of weeks. Part of it,
it's been fun.
It helps that like we're getting
talking to people.
We're just getting noticed. Yeah, like we're hanging out with people. Like Zane and Dave keep retweeting. That helps.
Our boy Doug.
So we didn't mention it. So Tolbert and I are sitting down at SmackDown.
All the seats are filled, right?
Yeah. So we're sitting down at SmackDown.
One seat.
It's an empty seat next to Tolbert, and then like two dudes who are writing out signs and like all this sort of stuff. And then this guy comes rolling in, right? And he sits down, and we're like, "Hey, dude, love your hoodie. It's a Dawson Brothers wrestling hoodie."
And you're like, "We know those guys."
I was like, "Dude, we know Zane Dawson. Like that's awesome."
And it's like we know both of them. Apparently, I don't know which one. One of them was a bartender.
Yeah, he worked with one of them.
Oh, well, they're both from Fayetteville.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know. Anyway, local connections. He's super cool guy.
They're both.
Doug.
So
awesome.
We take
Doug
a selfie.
was at WrestleCade as well.
Yeah,
he went to WrestleCade.
Yeah. So we were talking about WrestleCade, hanging out.
And I'm like, Doug, we got to take a selfie. So I take a selfie with Doug, throw that thing up on Twitter. We get retweeted by Zane and Dave.
Zane and Dave both.
And we get some good traction thanks to Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
And we had a great time.
And you know
next
what?
to an awesome dude. Like
We
really
hyped the
enjoyed it.
podcast to Doug. If Doug managed to find a way to listen to our podcast, thank you, Doug, for listening.
Thank you, Doug.
Dude, he was a cool dude. Cool dude. And so anyway, we are growing exponentially on social media. We're finding attractions. Some guy sought us out. He has his own kind of
I don't know what
thing,
that was.
whatever it is.
But we were one of the
It's on
authorities
YouTube,
to watch it.
And he's on Patreon. We're not on Patreon, but he is.
We can figure it out. We can figure out Patreon
anyway,
if
so
anybody wants to pay us.
He's on Patreon. He followed us. We followed him. He shouted us out on Twitter. It was really weird. But anyway, we're growing exponentially. 230 some odd followers now on Twitter.
I cooled off this week. Guys, in case you guys wanted to know, I found a very good probiotic. So my shit's
really
been
hoping we
very
wouldn't
short this week.
We wouldn't get an Aaron Cullen update.
I've been having phenomenal quick
Honestly,
dumps.
Funny thing, I sat on my couch today and I actually wrote out a tweet about what we were going to talk about, and I had mentioned that Aaron would probably talk about his colon. But it took. Here's the sad thing, boys. Sad thing. It took so long to find the GIF I wanted to post with the thing. I hit tweet and then it spazzed out, didn't do it, and I was like, well, fuck it, I'm not rewriting that.
Sorry. You guys got the update.
Yeah, so Aaron went ahead and updated us on his colon.
Another kind of social media. I was bartending last night. Guy Byron. Do you know Byron?
Byron.
Yeah, he said he knows you. Anyway, I was bartending last night, and he came up. He's like, "Hey, are you Tolbert? $2 steak?" I was like, "Yeah." Shook his hand, and
How does he know me?
I don't know.
All I know is we're getting famous because they're finding the right bar at the right time.
So thank you,
to get
Does
to
Sean Byron? Maybe.
I don't know. Thank you for coming to Cape Fear while you're shouting us out and listening to the podcast. He listened to all the episodes. He's current. So
Well, Jesus Christ.
I got drunk and played some pinball last night. So I was coming off of SmackDown.
Best part about Tolbert.
I was so hungover. I have to tell the story. Should I tell the story?
Go ahead,
Mike?
tell the
All
story.
right. I gotta tell. Did I tell you the story?
I don't know what story you're telling
Were
me.
you at Chris's at breakfast?
No, he was not. He was not. Go ahead.
I was
Check this out, right?
doing work.
All right. So
Get the saddest call from Tolbert.
Mike drove. It was responsible. Tolbert shotgun went full fledged. So anyway, I'm pretty drunk. I leave my keys in Mike's car. He drives back to Wilmington. I wake up in Fayetteville on Saturday morning. Right. Getting my stuff together, saying goodbye to mom and dad. Like, yeah, I agree. It was awesome. It was great. I'm fighting my hangover. Go to crank the car. My keys are gone.
Oh, no.
Right? So I call Mike.
Saddest call I've ever gotten. He's like,
instantly remember where I left my keys.
hey man, by chance, are my keys in your center console next to the thingamajig?
Yeah. He's like, yes, they are. Right? They're at breakfast at Chris's. Davenport, Peanut Butter Falcon is there. And comes to my rescue. He drives halfway down 87, meets me halfway between Wilmington and Fayetteville.
Davenport did this?
Yeah.
Wow.
Brings me.
Jesus
He's
Christ.
a friend
Pancake.
of a friend.
Yeah,
He's an amazing person.
Brings me my
Pancake.
keys.
What a man.
Yeah.
We love you, Pancake.
Brings
Yes,
me my
we
keys. And I drive back to Fayetteville to make the trek back to Wilmington.
Best part.
Swerve. There was a spare key in my car the whole time.
Tolbert. Sorry, Davenport.
I did not know that until I got about to Tar Hill, right outside of Hope Mills. And
That's what I was like. He woke up. He
I was about to have a
still
stroke,
drunk
dude.
and or hungover enough to remember where he left his keys, but he wasn't sober enough to remember that he had a spare key.
There you go.
You know,
So,
that's how
can
you know
he
it's
make
hope-
the shit list this week?
He did not actually make the shit list.
I'm taking Davenport and his wonderful girlfriend Nikki out to dinner this week.
Because
Peanut Butter Falcon, Davenport, if you're off Thursday, I'm taking y'all out to dinner wherever you want to go.
shirt off your back kind of guy, Davenport.
Just
Thank you,
You
Davenport.
know, you know what though? He hasn't showed up to the podcast with a rack of PBRs in a long time.
I know. He needs to come back. What did you do to scare him off?
I didn't do anything.
All right. Actually, the last time he was on the podcast was at his house during the Friendsgiving thing. The fiasco.
But I'm taking them out to dinner fully this week.
All right, so
Thank
let's
you,
get
bud.
to. Do you have a
All right.
shit list this
Fine,
week?
I do have a shit list.
All right, so let's get to the shit list.
All right, so As everybody who actually follows our podcast knows, that the shit list originated by me finding the people who unfollowed us.
Right?
We've done so amazing on social media, boys. Nobody's unfollowed us
That's
this week.
right.
We have not pissed or ticked or annoyed anybody to the point that they've unfollowed us.
Well, we haven't done an episode strictly with gay characters like that one time. And they're like,
that one time,
I ain't going down to a bunch of liberals.
That was 14 people anyway. So we have not.
Thank you, Pride Month. That was a great episode.
We have not shed our skin to say that many. But I will continue my trend of turning this here list into my own personal shit list diary and really just expelling the disgust that I have in the world to you boys and our dozens and dozens of listeners.
Right.
Okay. So
It's been a while since we had that.
I'm going to go ahead and start off the shit list with Buzz from Home Alone. Tolbert, you remember this kid? Yeah. He walked by. This motherfucker looks like Buzz from Home Alone. If you are not a millennial, you need to watch Home Alone, and you will know exactly who I'm talking about when I say Buzz. He was wearing a DX shirt. This motherfucker was no older than 13. And I literally said, I was like, that kid is not older than 13. He doesn't even know. What is this kid? Why is he wearing that at a youth group event? And why is he cutting us?
He cut you in line.
He cut us in line.
Buzz.
It was a youth group event, Mike. And he called this kid out publicly.
Woof.
Did you call him out?
I did not call him out. I was not to the point where I will get later in
Look
the
what
shit
he
list.
did, that little jerk.
His youth pastor, AJ Styles, will come and mess you up, and you know it.
Hey, man, we're just here to tell you about Jesus.
We just love Jesus and wrestling, buddy. Anyway, so Aaron, Buzz,
you've made Big Mike's shit list.
All right, next on this shit list. This was more of a Tolbert introduction to the shit list versus me so much. But Boomhauer, Tolbert. Oh, you remember Boomhauer?
Dude.
So we are standing in line at the Crown Coliseum waiting to get in for the doors to open. And in front of us is a 50-plus-year-old woman with missing one tooth. And her husband, boyfriend, confidant, Boomhauer.
He might be from Robinson County.
Boomhauer
in Greenville.
Boomhauer was about
They told us.
no less than 10 years older than this lady, and he kept saying words that I didn't understand. He literally
I would have been
like,
able to understand.
understood every word he said.
Basketball game.
I would have been completely fine. I would have been like,
He kept
I could have fully translated to Mike. I
he
understood
kept
every word he
referencing
said.
that this was a basketball game, and I'm like, no, sir, this is not a basketball game. But why Boomhauer makes the shit list is because Boomhauer kept sucking down Marlboros.
Dude,
and
they were like
blowing
Winston.
the smoke into
They
our
weren't even
face.
Marbles. They were like Winston's or Salem's, dude.
Oh.
I know that scent.
Dude,
They were right in their
it was a
face.
sweet nectar of tobacco, and he kept blowing it in Tolbert's face. I think because he felt akin to Tolbert.
did you do the obnoxious white woman that just do the...
No, I did not. Actually,
no.
actually, I was doing like a dog when he smells baked chicken, man. I was like, this smells great. I love this. And Tolbert's just like getting annoyed by the whole thing. He's like, this isn't marijuana. Why is he blowing smoke in my face?
Boomhauer, you've made Big Mike's shit list.
And last but not least on the Mike writes a diary shit list. The Crown Coliseum.
Oh, no.
Doors open at 6:15 according to the StubHub tickets that we acquired. Doors didn't open, but 26 minutes later. Now, if you are part of the Tolbert and Big
Hey,
Mike...
They weren't StubHub. They were Crown. They were box office.
Box
man. You think
office,
I'm
man.
second class StubHub.
I'm sorry.
They were box
Apologize.
office tickets. God,
That was not a
That's a
dig.
shoot.
at
And
the
that's
man.
a shoot.
That was not a dig at the man that acquired the tickets. This is more of a dig at the venue. And so the
What
Crown
is going on this episode?
God knows. The Crown Coliseum says that the tickets doors open 6:15. 26 minutes later, we are in a crowd of hundreds of individuals, many youth group people who have cut us in line, and they have not opened the doors. Guess what, boys? After a Tolbert Big Mike tailgate of a box of rocks and Doritos, Big Mike's got to take a piss, right? so doors open at 6:15. At 5:50, we decide, hey, let's go get in line, right? We have left the comfort, coziness of our tailgate spot where we could pee behind the dumpster, and we have pulled up, parked, walked down, got in line, and are waiting. Man over the megaphone comes out. He's blown out that, hey, we're going to open up 15 to 25 minutes late. I look at Tolbert and go, what the fuck? We both had to pee already. 26 minutes later, I'm about to piss my fucking pants. All right, so I'm freaking out. I'm thank God we're males, right? I'm manually cutting this off, right? So
you're holding the tip of your dick.
Am manually cutting this off. I had to pee so bad.
At that point, it could be like a hose, and like, dude, you open it, and it just sprays a hole in your pants.
The problem is, so 6:15, I'm like staring at this azalea bushes outside. I'm like, I should probably squeeze in there and just take a leak, but like, they didn't announce. Anyway, so we fast forward. We've gotten through security. We're waiting to go through the metal detectors. Me and Tolbert are sitting there waiting. And there's a holdup.
I wasn't holding my dick.
I'm about to piss my pants.
Minding my own business.
There's a holdup at our metal detector. I look over. There is nobody in the metal detector line next to us. I asked that lady. I said, "Can we use that one?" And she looks at me. And she goes, "Don't see why not." I said, thank God. We go through, cut through. I run to the fucking bathroom and just take the biggest leak of my life. I got to the toilet before Tolbert. Tolbert comes. Tolbert leaves. I'm still staying there because I was about to piss my fucking pants. Anyway, long story short, I did not wet myself. I made it to the SmackDown. We had a great time, but the Crown Coliseum.
Crown Coliseum, you've made Big Mike's shit list. All right, Cookie, for the strong style of the evening, you had Chaos against Suzuki Gun. Now, you can tell me who these four members are.
Yes, I can. So, Chaos is the team of Ishii and Yano. Suzuki Gun is my man Saber and Suzuki.
Minoru Suzuki.
Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of his first name, but yes.
He was the guy that just recently gotten all that kerfuffle with Jushin Liger and brought out
Kishin
Liger.
Love it. All right, so JR on commentary for an event in San Francisco. It was a pleasant surprise because this is New Japan Pro Wrestling. I was hoping you can give me a little insight of like, was that just a international tour for?
Yeah. So what they do is. This was aired on an American channel. I can't remember what the name of the channel is. But what they do each year is they will run an American tour. And this was a part of the North American tour.
I got you.
You know, building up that fan base.
That's going to tie into one of my honorable mentions. But
Okay.
I'll get to that in a second. Suzuki and Saber make their little cute entrance with their dim lights and whatnot, towel over their head. Well, after that, you hear the air raid siren. And you hear the dogs barking, and you know the Stone Pit Bull,
your boy,
is coming out. And well, by his side is that guy that you can find at your local barbershop selling his DVD every year. That's my boy Yano, but I love him. I like Ishii and I like Yano.
And together they make a pretty fun tag team.
They do make a pretty fun tag team. Now I don't know what year this is. What year is this?
This was very recent, I think.
Really?
I'll try to find it for you. Let me look.
Okay, so this team hopefully is going to be working together a little bit longer in the future as well.
I think they might.
Okay, good deal. You know how some people just look like wrestlers? Well, the Stone Pit Bull looks like a decorated wrestler. Stocky, meatball head, minimal range of motion in his neck. Like he is a wrestler.
Exactly.
Yes. All right, but I'll get on with my countdown. Let's go.
Cookie's top 4. Number 1.
Yano tries to find the ropes every time he is put in a hammerlock. This was a pretty funny moment in the match. So Saber would go for a hammerlock on him. He'd find the rope. He tries a wrist lock. He finds a rope. He even goes for a double wrist lock at one point. And I've never seen this before, but a person using his head to find the ropes and get the ropes.
Yes.
Genius. It was genius. And a pretty cool moment in the match.
Number 2.
the submission specialists going to work. Saber and Suzuki, both, from what I can tell from this match,
shoot badasses, both of them.
Freaks when it comes to submissions, and they pulled this off pretty flawlessly. I mean, one person would have the arm bar, the other person would have a toe hold, and then they'll transition smoothly, like they know clockwise motion. We're gonna knock this out, so they would transition to a leg lock and an arm bar. They completed like 3 of these transitions pretty smoothly, and it was just the first time I'm seeing that in a match, and I thought that was a pretty neat moment in the match.
It's that it's one Suzuki's got a mixed martial arts background, and then Saber has that catch as catch can style from Britain. He was trained in Britain.
Oh, that makes sense then. Okay, well, let's keep going.
Number 3.
Ishii's elbows and slaps to the head of Suzuki were something serious.
Insane.
Man. It's absolutely insane. Like, they don't pull punches. It was legit just badass versus badass. Who's going to crumble first? And that's what the fans got. They got something like an MMA match.
Right.
I mean, just who's going to back down first. But Suzuki was sticking his tongue out, just challenging him. I loved it. That back and forth stiffness is what makes Japanese wrestling so entertaining, because you don't get that, realism with other companies.
It's very unhinged. I like Suzuki's kind of style. You look at him, he's a little older now, but you know that this guy has seen some shit.
Yes.
And he's taken some shit. I like that.
And he's telling the story with each fucking slap, punch, whatever it is. But I digress.
Number 4.
You compliment what I just said, so that stiffness and realism in the company. And you get number 4, just Yano being Yano. And you get a nice compliment of just... Yano is the guy, like I said, he's the guy that's trying to sell his DVD to everybody. He goes for a low blow. This is the finish of the match. He goes for a low blow. Saber spots and catches Yano's arm with his knees. Saber turns his body to set up a submission, and then he just gets mollywopped with the clothesline, one of the stiffest ones I've seen, by Ishii. Yano rolls him up for the pin, gets the win. Creative setup and finish.
Did you think that was going to be the ending?
I did not think that was going to be
the ending. I didn't either. I thought it was pretty jarring.
I thought he was going to get submitted.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, here comes another like arm bar of some sort, and then fucking Ishii comes out like a pit bull, literally just comes out of nowhere and knocks him the fuck out.
Right.
Beautiful. It was beautiful.
I love Yano and Ishii.
And together they make a very contrasting styles.
Yeah. Can I say that I appreciate this podcast for allowing me to enjoy both of those, because there's zero chance in any world that I would have ever watched either of those guys wrestle.
No, if you'd have asked me 9 months ago, do I know who Ishii is? Hell
Cookie
no.
barely knew what strong style was.
Right. And now Cookie, I would say, is on his way to becoming an expert on it.
I believe so. And I just think I thought the world of this match. But let's go to my honorable mentions.
Cookie's honorable mentions.
Dude, the way the match began, just two bulls locking horns. Once again, this is Suzuki and Ishii, just throwing stiff elbows and seeing which one drops first. That's how you start a match. Like, that's how, like, you get the intensity right at the beginning. Just two veterans of the strong style just going head to head. And hold on, wait, sorry. I lost my spot.
Botch.
Suzuki got the upper hand, and then Ishii just shoulder checks the fuck out of him and just runs through Suzuki. My bad. That's my bad. You're
fine. I was just looking at Tolbert's face, and Tolbert had the like Tolbert looks like the mask of one of the guys in his match that we're going to be talking about.
Oh God, I think I know which one you're talking about.
So keep going, Cookie. I'm sorry.
My next honorable mention. Oh man, Yano's my guy. He's the only one I know that comes off of a hot tag, punches his opponent in the face, and then runs to the corner turnbuckle to untie the padded turnbuckle cover in an attempt to use it as a weapon, all while screaming at the top of his lungs.
Yano is...
That's Yano being Yano.
And it's a comedy spot.
I
Yes.
was going to say, is there anybody in, like, American wrestling who's very even similar to him? Like,
it's not interesting, really. Man.
Because he's got the charisma and the character, but also the skill to actually, like, be in every match.
Right.
Yes.
And they call him a spoiler because always in the G1 he's going to beat somebody that
like,
you.
I can't.
He has such a unique style.
I can't think of anybody to compare him to.
The only thing I could compare this to, kind of, is like the B team and their kind of antics and the way they win their matches, the way they win them.
So I was comparing him, and I was referencing him with some of our friends tonight at Waterline, like explaining the matches and the situations and stuff. And it was interesting because I was like, you don't have a clue what they're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
But between how they wrestle and the caricature that they portray and all this sort of stuff, like, you know exactly what's going on.
Right.
You know that this guy,
he holds the DVD up.
is kind of a fuck up.
Yes.
But somehow this guy like knows, like, it was awesome. And like, that's again why I love wrestling, because it's like
he tells a story.
He tells a story without language.
The DVD.
Any culture knows what is happening within. That's that guy that I know.
I left commentary on mute the first time that I watched it. I didn't realize I didn't know JR was on it because I just left it on mute.
Because you're so used to it.
I'm just so used to it. Like, I don't know. I listen to this shit. But I mean, I just like, well, I know exactly who Yano is. I remember him, the hand movements and everything. He's telling the story without me even knowing what the hell the commentary team was telling me.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
you boys are evolving. I love that. Like that. This has been able to take a critical approach. Yeah. On professional wrestling, and you guys have been able to learn.
Now, I had to ask this. So, does he try to get the turnbuckle cover every time?
Yeah.
Like,
so that's a part of his shtick, and I like it.
Every match I've seen with him, he's gone for the turnbuckle. It's an easy. I mean, if you can get the guy to hit it, it's an easy out. Like, you're just done.
And also, it's a good distraction for the referee, so he could do something nefarious.
Very true. Very true. But he didn't even use it in this
No,
match. He got caught in an abdominal strike.
Right.
But anyway, I digress. I'm just going to wrap this up. That was the end of my honorable
Give me the cookie count.
All in all, I'm going to give this match 4 cookies.
There you go.
It was interesting. It was a pretty short match. I loved it. It was like a showcase for me.
It was
a showcase of just the 4, what they can do. It didn't really tell a story, which was fine. And it did feel like they kind of put 4 people together.
Yeah.
But I want to see more of their matches, though.
Okay.
Like I said, just showcase the talent. Like, I got just of every person's gimmick. And I just want to see more of Saber, and I want to see some more Yano, of course. Yano's my boy.
Sorry.
Jesus, man.
Tolbert was really shocked by the fact.
All right, we'll get to your segment. All right, 4 cookies.
4 cookies.
I dropped my phone there. Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
All right, for the high spot. And Tolbert is ripe and ready to go for this one.
He's embracing it.
Yeah.
Tolbert, you have got Kanjyuuro.
Thank you for taking on the names because I wasn't going to do it.
Wait, what is going on here? What? Kanjyuuro Matsuyama. Kuishinbo Kamen.
Jesus.
Kuishinbo Kamen and Kikutaro. I know how to say that one. Kikutaro.
Okay.
So Kikutaro's the weird mask one.
All right.
Kamen.
Wait. Stop,
weird
stop. Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know who's who in this, right? I read it, right? And I had a busy weekend.
Well, can you say that you watched this sober and don't know who's who, and then you got high and you don't know who's who?
No. I watched this recovering from a hangover on my couch after
while he waited for Denver to drive to Elizabethtown.
yeah. I didn't know who's who. It's in Japanese. But it's funny.
And it is funny.
Yeah. And you have 2 mask figures. You have a clown.
Right.
A full-on clown suit.
Right.
I guess you could call him a cholo.
Kinda.
Yeah. Like a schoolboy.
That would be
cholo.
Kikutaro.
Yeah. Okay. And then you have a painted face. I would call him a concubine. A male concubine.
Do you know what a concubine is?
Do you know what that
I know
means?
exactly
It's
what
a
that
hooker.
means. I know. He looks, I don't know.
He looks like...
I was going to say a samurai.
Tolbert, I don't think I would have used that word in
That was literally
I was a little
the
surprised by
last
that one.
thing
In
that
any-
I would ever have said that this guy looked like.
any sense of any wrestling event ever.
I mean,
I'm
maybe-
not a very
Maybe in this
educated
culture,
person,
he's a hooker.
but concubine.
All right.
Even in the Lana Lashley.
If you would let
thing.
me get to the rest of the high spot,
Yeah, please.
which is my spot.
Sorry. Ooh, sorry.
All right, finish your spot. I'm sorry.
I don't know. He has some goof.
These are his words and his thoughts.
I know the name of this episode.
Leave me to them.
My spot.
No, it's Concubine is the name of the episode.
Yes.
This is terrible. This is a terrible.
Maybe call him a samurai. I don't know. This is a terrible match. It's not that bad. It's entertaining. I've seen this a lot in the Japanese wrestling that you showed us. They have some kind of.
Are you watching the same
intermission.
Japanese wrestling as we?
A male hooker and a guy in a clown mask.
I have run on.
Tolbert, are you on Daily Motion or are you on Pornhub? Because
it's been a rough weekend. It's been a rough weekend.
The wrong version.
Highs and lows, man. I've been up since 6:30.
Lots of highs,
cooking barbecue, man.
Lots of highs. Very few lows.
Look at Cookie. Cookie's out.
Cookie is ashamed of your verbiage. The guy who writes
Can we get
monologue.
to the match?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Get to the match.
So,
You say get to the match and then you lose it. And then you lose it. Just like
Anyway.
that.
Go ahead, Tolbert. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna
Go
keep
ahead.
brief. We have these three jokesters. It's obviously a joke match, but you have some good moves in there. They actually tease a bunch of classic wrestling moves, but botch them on purpose.
Wait, are you gonna get to the whole rock paper scissors thing, or
I don't even know where I'm at anymore.
before they get to the wrestling matches, they rock paper scissors to see who gets the wrestling match or who gets the move?
Well, cool. I know the Concubine wins with a double pin. And there's a bunch of streamers, and there's a butterfly spot at some point.
The butterfly
fuck?
spot.
The Concubine does a tightrope walk and is
Tightrope?
And he walks with a butterfly.
Yeah,
Can I
there's
just
a
say that
butterfly.
normally
Why is there
Tolbert-
a butterfly?
Normally, Tolbert without notes is really good. He goes through the match.
Yeah, today's been a long
He
day.
lays it out. He knows exactly what's happening. This may be worse than his 2 weeks ago.
Should I get to the haiku?
Yeah, let's get to the
All
haiku.
right.
No. I want to hear the rest.
No, we're getting to the haiku.
I want to hear the rest.
This episode is so long.
How long is it?
We're at an hour and 20 minutes at this
That's
point.
fine.
Ooh.
That's
We got Davenport
But
all the way to station wherever he works.
No, Tolbert, continue with your actual match review.
Yeah, all right, cool.
The,
So
the
there's a butterfly spot.
It was phenomenal.
There's a bunch of joking around. The Concubine does some things. He gets a double pin. There's some streamers. Anyway,
At what point
this
is
is the worst review ever. All right, watch the link. Have a good time. Make a cup of coffee. Settle down and say, "Hey,
Smoke a J."
Yeah, what are the boys at $2 Steak doing today?
Not watching their
link.
match.
Tolbert's going rogue.
This is like
he went rogue, man.
So what I think it is, and this is like when you have to do a book report and you forgot that you didn't read the book.
No,
until the day before, and then you're like, you just kind of skim through it. And you're
you
like,
forgot the objective of
Right.
the book report. It wasn't to review the book. It was to actually define.
Hey man, you don't know my life. You don't know what I went through this weekend.
so then you give the presentation, and the teacher's like, yeah, that's great. I don't think you understood the characters. And
the objective wasn't.
Tom Sawyer was not a concubine.
He just wasn't.
He was.
You know what, though?
Damn it.
That was the only 3-syllable word I could think of.
All right, give us the haiku. Give us the haiku, Tolbert.
all right.
Give us the haiku.
Goddamn haiku. Japanese jokesters. Cholo clowns a concubine.
Wait, what's the second line?
Cholos clowns a concubine. Hey man, that's funny.
All right, can you read that one more time? No pauses.
I'm trying. Oh, okay.
One more time.
No more. Hey guys, boys, let him read it. Let him read it.
All right.
Okay.
Japanese jokesters. Cholos clowns a concubine. Hey man, that's funny.
All right. Well, that's been this week's episode of $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast.
Man, I worked till 2 a.m.
I
and
know.
then I had to get
have
up.
no problem with your. It was a great
SmackDown.
haiku.
I had to drive 87 6 times.
It's all right,
on Saturday
Tolbert.
morning.
Tolbert, it's okay.
Shoot on him. Shoot.
Can I just say, please, if you felt like this episode is a referendum on the quality with which we produce podcasts, please follow us at.
Oh, we lost him. We lost him.
Damn it. Anyway,
at this point,
at number 2 $steak _ on Instagram and Twitter. And just DM us, tweet at us. Just
tell how
us
bad this
how
was.
shitty this was.
This was it was not a bad episode.
Because we will love it and we will respond, and we love hate mail, we love quality mail, we love anything.
We love anything. We love attention.
You know, we are so desperate that even bad shit we will appreciate.
I will appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Wait, go ahead, Cookie.
Before this podcast started, you
hours.
said that you were not a restrictive host. I just want to agree with you. You're not.
I am.
How long this podcast is going.
I have been trying to at one
He's been
point
saying, wrap it up, boys.
At one point I was
But
like,
you did it.
I was so ready. I'm like, this is going to be an easy. I told Haven, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be done very quickly tonight. It's going to be a quick episode. I'm like things are still happening.
And then Tolbert goes, Concubine.
And then 30 minutes later, here we get the haiku. Thank you for listening to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. We might have an episode next week that has some Christmas stuff. I don't know. Can we get one concubine chant?
Concubine. Concubine.
Concubine.